Today, we are embarking on the inaugural flight between Taipei and Los Angeles on Starlux Airlines in Premium Economy. My footage is not as good as Sam Chu's video on this, so I'm stealing a few of his shots so you get some of that quality video here too. Arriving at Taipei Airport. Starlux flies out of Taipei Airport Terminal 2, which has gone through some serious renovations over the last few years. It's not a big airport like LAX or Narita in Tokyo, but I love the size of this airport because it makes it very easy to get through security and get to the gate. Even with a long security line, from arriving at the airport, you could make it to your gate in less than 30 minutes. So first, let's check in. I've arrived 2 hours before my flight. There's a lot of people here, so first thing we should do before looking around is checking in. Checking in for the flight was a little weird because it was chaotic. Now this is an inaugural flight, their first flight from Taipei to Los Angeles and then back. So there were camera crews, news reporters, lots of things going on. So I tried to check in at the kiosk, but that didn't work. And the issue was very likely that my middle name wasn't on my ticket, but it was on my passport. So I was gonna hop into the Premium Economy line until someone from their customer service team was being too helpful because they redirected me to the customer service counter. FYI, I did not see anyone else use the kiosk while I was there. While they were checking me in, I saw a sign that showed the weight limits for each passenger class. 7 kilograms max carry-on for economy and premium economy. This made me a little nervous because when I fly, I go carry-on only, and I carry significantly more than 7 kilograms. Now, after waiting about 10 minutes, I had a printed ticket and was ready to go. Not bad considering there was a lot going on. So I still had about 2 hours until boarding, which is way too much time to spend airside at an airport, and luckily with Taipei Airport, it's very easy to get around, so let's check out the Terminal 2. And if you make your way up to the 5th floor, pre-security, you'll get access to the observation deck, you'll find a Starbucks, and a couple of restaurants. If you make your way underground to B1, you'll find a pretty large food court. Now, if you already went through security, you do have a few food options, but there are just much more on the land side before you go through security and immigration. As for getting through security, it was a pretty long line. I wasn't allowed to record anything, but I was able to get through the entire process in just 12 minutes. So even if you see a long line at Taipei Airport, they are very efficient. At Taipei Airport, there are a couple lounges. Premium Economy on Starlux doesn't get you anything, but I happen to have access to the Plaza Premium Lounge with my Amex Platinum card. Now I am only signed up for the sign-up bonus, and I will get rid of that card as soon as there is another annual fee due, so don't think that I actually spend money on this type of stuff. And for this lounge, I only went here to charge up my devices and hang out just before it was time to board. It's 1:29 p.m. From the security area, it takes 10 minutes to walk the gate to D1. Gotta stop to get a drink because I don't know if I'll have a water. Luckily they take Easy Card. 4. Alright, got some water, gonna go on this 12-hour flight. It's shorter going from Asia to the US, but if it was reversed, it's like a 14-hour flight. So today we're riding on Starlux. It is their inaugural flight, and
that means it's the first one. So the first flight between Taipei and LA. And Starlux is like a premium long distance carrier, or a regional too, but I'm gonna go this way so you can't see how tired I am. It's made by the son of one of the members of EVA, and they had some kind of falling out, and the son was like, nah, I'm gonna make my own airline. And he did. And that's Starlux. So we'll try riding it today. I'm a little late because I like being late. I don't know why. I was hanging out at the lounge, just sitting there. Didn't really feel a need to get to the gate early, because then I just wait at the gate. And boarding starts in 6 minutes, but you know, that's for business and first class. So for everyone else, it's a little longer. So I definitely have a 10-minute buffer. Their gate is at the very end of Terminal 2. And these are the people waiting for the Starlux flight. It looks like they began the process. So let's get in there. That's a surfboard game where you can surf. Hi.
Okay, so do you have any like irregular items inside your check-in baggage or your belonging luggage of the inside?
What do you mean irregular?
Like the knife or
Oh,
something
no.
like sharp things?
No,
okay,
no.
Okay, well, thank you so
Okay.
much. Yes, sir, please, thank you.
When you get to the gate, there's a 2-check system. They check for your ticket and passport before you can access the waiting area, and then they check your ticket and passport again at the boarding gate. As we arrive at the waiting area, you can see there's a lot going on. It's an inaugural flight, so there's a big celebration. I don't know how any of this works, so I just sat down and observed, and waited until it was my time to board. People were signing things, taking pictures, doing interviews, and all of this resulted in the flight taking off a little later than expected.
So, cool thing. Sam Chu is on this flight. Very popular YouTuber and does aviation videos. He is very detailed and does good content. We're gonna make a much worse video. And it is 1:53. Boarding began at 1:40. Zone 2. So get on this flight soon. Hi.
Thank you.
Huh.
Thank you. Have a good one.
Thank you.
Welcome aboard.
All right. That was pretty easy. Secondary screening for some. Not for Dan. Gonna keep walking. Hi. 23 Alpha. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Upon arriving at my seat, 23 Alpha, you can't help but notice how massive the TV screens were. As for the actual seat, it felt very firm, yet comfortable, very unused. It could have been used, but it felt very new. And that firmness and comfort remained throughout the flight. I didn't really find myself shifting around too much, trying to get comfortable. My butt didn't hurt sitting there for so many hours. It was good. It was a very good experience for premium economy. And if economy is similar, I would do economy. Now let's take a quick tour. I have a habit of looking under the in-flight entertainment screen for power outlets. It is not there, but you could actually tilt the screen out if you need to. If you're looking for the USB and power outlets, you can find that in the shared armrest. On the side of the shared armrest panel, you can find the in-flight entertainment remote, which we'll talk about in a minute, and the controls for your seat. There are two buttons, one for the recline of your seat and one for the leg rest. I found both of these buttons incredibly difficult to press. I'm not sure if it was just my seat or if everyone else had the same issue. I had to really fight the buttons to make sure they can be pressed so my seat could recline forward or backward and to get the leg rest partially up and back down. Now the leg rest can only stay at a very minimal angle and I felt like it was more in the way than anything, so I ended up not using it throughout the flight. When arriving at the premium economy seat, I found one comfy blanket, one pillow, one pair of paper-thin slippers that broke pretty quickly, and I absolutely think they went too cheap on the slippers and the amenity kit. But it is nice that you at least get an amenity kit. Now I didn't record this while I was on the plane, I recorded it when I got home, so let's take a look inside. You get one Starlux branded eye mask, one lip balm, compression socks, earplugs, a dental pouch which included a toothbrush and toothpaste, and hand cream. Now let's give my ratings. As for the seat in premium economy, I found the space 9 out of 10. The seat had ample space, and if I needed to use the lavatory, there was enough space for me to walk in front of the passenger next to me without having them to move. I had my large carry-on backpack sitting at my feet, which didn't interrupt me too much and served as an additional footrest. At one point, the passenger in front of me reclined all the way, and I still felt comfortable and not claustrophobic. Amenities, 6 out of 10. I know it's premium economy, but the amenity kit felt pretty generic. It didn't really feel very Starlux. That screamed premium, with which you see in a lot of their branding. And the biggest disappointment were the slippers. The slippers are paper thin, they ripped immediately, and I just wasn't able to use them.
Items falling out.
Seat functionality, 4 out of 10. Pressing the buttons for the recline and leg rest were very difficult. I also didn't end up using the leg rest because it felt more uncomfortable to use since it didn't really go out as far as I would have liked. It was just at a very low angle. In-flight entertainment. During takeoff, they made us watch advertisements. Now, I'm not sure if this is the same on all flights, maybe I don't have a great memory for it, but it was very apparent because we were forced to watch several different ads upon takeoff, and there was no way around that. I've seen ads attached to the beginning of movies, but it was weird that everyone in the cabin was forced to watch these advertisements during takeoff. This is a 12-hour flight, and you're going to want to be entertained for most of that time, so you need a good entertainment system. And when it comes to Starlux, there's actually a lot of good and bad here. Even though we have a much bigger screen than any other airline, the screen is way too reflective. At times it was hard to see what was on screen, and it was much easier to see any reflection in the cabin, including myself and the people behind me. Some people were actually using the screen as a mirror because it was more functional as a mirror than an entertainment system. But all the reflections went away once they turned off the lights in the cabin and it was nighttime, and it was just much easier to watch. If the windows are open and people are awake, you're gonna have a hard time seeing that monitor. But I also think Starlux did go all out on quality. This is the biggest screen that could fit on the back of the seat. The entertainment selection was very limited. They had a lot of old shows, very few movies and TV shows that were new, and I found myself not watching anything. There was just nothing to watch, so I just ended up listening to audiobooks because most of the content that was available wasn't great. There weren't many things that I wanted to watch on there. But on a positive note, Starlux has the most modern remote I've ever seen. It's a touchpad, so if you're familiar with the touchpad on a laptop, that's pretty much how it worked. You could navigate all over the screen with ease. It was very responsive. You could also do picture-in-picture. You could resize picture-in-picture. You could move the screen around. It was the most advanced entertainment system that I've seen on a plane to date. So there are a lot of options there. I really just think that they need to put something where the screen is less reflective and more entertainment options. So let's jump into my IFE ratings. Screen size, 10 out of 10. I don't think you can put a bigger screen on there. Screen quality, 5 out of 10. It's very high quality, but as I mentioned earlier, it's way too reflective, and it actually serves better as a mirror at many times. Entertainment variety, 5 out of 10. It's not great. I would rather just download shows and watch them on my phone, and I kind of did that, rather than watching the entertainment that was available. And modernness, 9 out of 10. I forgot to mention this earlier, but they have the Bluetooth connectivity. You could pair your own headphones via Bluetooth to their monitor. It's really nice, it's very convenient, but if you do this too early in a flight before takeoff, it actually loses its Bluetooth connection and forgets your device, so you're gonna have to repair it after. So that was annoying, but it could be fixed in the future. The windows. Starlux uses these digital touch windows. You can set how dark you want it instead of just open or closed, so it gives you a lot more options. But there is a problem here. When they turn off the lights in the cabin, these windows become completely locked out and you can't see outside. You can't adjust the strength. Now, I found this very inconvenient because when we are traveling at night, I like to look out the window and see the stars, and you can't do that on a Starlux flight, so you're not going to get that experience. They don't want people opening the window when it's light outside, but if it's dark outside, you should let people open the window if they want to. And by open, I mean, you know, make it not.
Business class bathroom. Wireless wash.
The meal. So to remind you, we are sitting in premium economy and they get the same meals as economy. It's not really going to be that fancy. So for the meal, they had two options. They had a pork donburi or a shrimp pasta, but by the time they got to me in the back of the cabin, they were out of the shrimp pasta, and I ended up getting the pork donburi. I'm actually very glad that happened because that pork donburi was super delicious, and I ate the whole thing. I recommend getting it. It wasn't overcooked, it was very rich, it was delicious, and I would absolutely get it again. I'd give that 8 out of 10. It was a delicious meal. The portion was a little small because I really wanted more due to its deliciousness. There was another meal that they served for breakfast, but I ended up skipping it because they served it too early. They were serving breakfast 3 hours before arriving, and I thought that was way too early. I was still sleepy. It was about 8 a.m. at the time. We were arriving at 11 a.m., and I just wasn't ready to eat that early. And I'm pretty sure business and first class got their meals closer to arrival because they could have continued sleeping. Flight price. For just a one-way flight in Starlux Premium Economy from Taipei to Los Angeles, the cost is about $1,400 US. It's a little cheaper per segment if you book the round trip, but that was double the price of basic economy, going for $700. Now, is that extra price worth it? Well, it depends on your price tolerance, if you need that money, if you're a large person and actually need more space. It just depends on your financial goals and how you want to spend your money. So, for me, I probably could have saved the $700 and stayed in basic economy, but it was kind of nice trying something different for this experience. And you also have to consider that Starlux's competitors are EVA Airlines and China Airlines, which were priced about the same for a much more dated experience where everything is just a little older, a little more used, a little more worn out. Well, on Starlux, you're gonna have a brand new seat and it's gonna be a lot more comfortable. Final thoughts. Is Starlux worth it? Absolutely. Compared to the older planes with any other Asian carrier, Starlux serves a premium product at the same competitive price. There's no airline as modern as Starlux right now, so even though there are places where Starlux could improve, they are already the most modern airline you could fly today. I look forward to flying with Starlux again in the future. They recently announced a partnership with Alaska Airlines and their mileage program, so I'll be able to book business class with them using Alaska Miles. And I'm looking forward to that. I hope you are too, so feel free to subscribe. See you next flight. Full Vlog Dan.